Hey there, thanks for watching. Today I'm starting out this video at home in District 7 in Ho Chi Minh City, less than 10 kilometres south of the city centre. Now, recently in my Facebook group, I opened my big mouth and said that I thought I'd found the best Bún Bò Huế in District 7. Just in District 7, not the entire city. So I set up a poll in the group asking people if they wanted me to make a video of it or not. And surprise, surprise, the unanimous decision was yes, with a couple of don't bothers, boo, hiss. Anyway, I'm going to introduce you to the Bún Bò Huế in question, but not only that, afterwards, I'm going to walk you through a very local market not too far from there, and it's where we'll get to taste a few unusual things together. And then the best part, we'll wash it all down with a beer that you can only get in Vietnam. How does that sound? Okay, let's get into it then. Okay, the big reveal, Phương Linh Bún Bò Huế. Now, I've eaten here plenty of times before, especially in the past couple of weeks preparing for this video. And each time I've asked people eating in here whether they think it's good or not. And they always say that she's famous, she's definitely a firecracker, and that her bowls of Bún Bò Huế are bangers. So I'll let you decide. I'm going to bring you in and we're going to have a go at it. Okay, let's do it. Bún Bò Huế is a ridiculously popular dish here in Saigon, despite it hailing from the old imperial capital of Huế in central Vietnam, where, by the way, it's simply called Bún Bò. Generally consisting of cylindrical rice noodles, sliced beef, pork sausage, fish or crab cakes, pork knuckles and blood cake, submerged in a broth made with lemongrass, fish sauce, chilies, spices, topped with herbs, then cut with lime and even more chilies. There's no wonder it's a massive favourite with the punters here in Saigon. Bún Bò Huế is probably one of the most spicy dishes you'll get in Vietnam, because the tradition of spicy Vietnamese food is said to have originated around Huế. Yeah, I read somewhere that the conditions in Huế are better for growing chilies, hence the spicier food that tends to come from there. But I also suspect that because it's close to Hoi An, which was a major trading port, 200 years ago or so, that it was closer to the spice trade route and therefore they had greater access to spices. I don't really know, I'm kind of making it up, so if you do know, let me know, put it in the comments below because I'd really like to find out. Vietnam more or less can be divided into three distinct flavour zones, with the north preferring more subtle and savoury dishes, while down here we tend to like things sweeter with plenty of herbs, mostly because fruits and herbs are so plentiful. In fact, it's not unusual for Bún Bò Huế broth to have pieces of pineapple in the pot during its preparation. And of course in the central parts, as I've already mentioned, they love their spicy stuff. Now Bún Bò Huế varies from region to region and shop to shop, especially down here in Saigon. But one thing that never changes is this. You need to add this. This is called satay. Don't confuse it with the word satay, it's nothing like that. It's more like a dried chili sambal, probably is the best way I would describe it. It's got dried chili flakes, lemongrass, what else? Sugar, salt, probably fish sauce, and probably loads of MSG as well. And another one that you really need to put in is this sucker here, and this is called mắm tôm, and it's very famous and it smells. I'm not going to put my nose in it because people obviously put their spoons and whatever else in there to eat it, but it's basically fermented shrimp, and it's either shrimp or fish, and it's put into salt and then just left out in the sun for weeks on end. That's about it. And as you can see, it's purple. It's almost like an ube, the taro that you get a lot of in the Philippines. It looks like that, tastes nothing like that at all, but you really need to make sure you put this in along with the satay. Okay, so there we go. Big heap of that. I might put 2 in. There we go. After all, it's spicy. It's got to be spicy. Put a decent heap of that in. It's actually pretty hard to look at, but yeah, here we go. Yeah, put a nice heaping of that on there. And then just swish it in. Typically when I come here, Phương Linh will kind of make it all up for me. She'll put the satay and the mum tom in one of these along with some lime and whatever else and mix it in. And typically the way you eat it is that you dip the pieces of meat and the crab cake and whatever else into that and then eat it. You don't tip it into the bowl, but you know, I'm a foreigner, I do things wrong all the time here, so mine's gone in there. All right, so there you have it. All right, let's dig in. Very good. Okay, so there you have it, Phương Linh's Bún Bò Huế in District 7. I'll leave the address in the description. Make sure you come and check it out. Is it the best one in Saigon? I don't know. I don't even know whether it's the best one in the street. There are plenty around, so make sure if you're in the area, come and check it out. 60,000 for the duck beard. I think it's well worth it. Okay, before it gets too hot, let's go on to the next place I want to show you. Let's hit the road. So I've pulled up a little plastic chair at a favourite place of mine. It's a mum and pop fruit stall just near Tan Huy Market, and it's run by Mr. Hung and his lovely wife, and they're happy for me to come here and pop in for a coconut and a bit of fruit. They have a roaring trade. They've got motorbikes coming in left, right and centre most of the time. We're about 1 kilometre's walk from the Bún Bò Huế place that we had lunch at, and in that direction there, about 200 metres away, is Tan Huy Market in District 7. Usually I'd show you more of the street, but just in the last couple of days, the local authorities have come around and pulled vendors in off the street. They're checking for licences to trade. It's actually illegal to trade on the streets in Vietnam in most places. So I'm going to keep the camera facing this direction. I'm not going to show you too much because I don't want to inadvertently impinge on the lifestyle of the people here. So I'm going to have a little drink of coconut to cool down, and then Mr. Hung's going to cut up a durian for me. There are lots of videos I know on YouTube about this sort of stuff, but I just wanted to show you my experience just in case you're in this area and you might want to pop in and try some of the fruits that these guys have got. Oh, look at that, that's full.
Durian is native to Borneo and Sumatra, but these days it's grown commercially throughout Southeast Asia. There are 30 varieties, of which 9 are edible, including this one, which is likely a Malaysian variety, grown commercially on a large scale in Vietnam, which also supplies growing export markets like China. Vietnam has around 100,000 hectares dedicated to growing durian, with an annual output of around 1.3 million tonnes, from farms around the Central Highlands and the Mekong Delta. Although this most pungent of fruits is revered for its intense flavour, aroma and size, I can't help but think I've been sold a lemon.
The king of fruits, here it is. Although this is a mini one, I suspect this is the prince of the family, but check that out. It's called a durian in English, and it gets its name after the Malay word duri, which means thorns. So there you have it. But in Vietnamese, it's called sao ring, right? Sao ring, yeah. And yes, as I said, it's the king of fruits. Check that out. Don't sit under one of these trees. All right, I think I've got that on camera. Okay, let's open this baby up.
With Mr. Hung on hand to do the honours, he gets to work cutting open our little smelly treat. And it's a good thing too. Somehow I don't think my insurance policy has a clause in it that covers me when slicing open a fruit that looks, let's face it, somewhat like a medieval looking torture device. Don't try this at home, folks.
Let's try this here. Now, according to Mr. Hung, who's holding the camera, I just pull it out. So let me have a smell. It's not that strong, actually. It's quite good. It's very famous for stinking. And there we go. And they're banned from apartment blocks and public transport and stuff like that in many countries. I don't know about in Vietnam, but check that out. It's very waxy, kind of gooey. Look at that. Okay. Try it? Okay. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, naan. Rat naan. Yeah. It's got a really bad reputation, but it's tasty. I'd definitely buy one of these again, but they're probably Vietnam's most expensive. Would have that most expensive fruit. It's about bao nhiêu tiền? Một cây bao nhiêu tiền? 80. So it's 80,000 for 1 kilogram. But when they weigh it, they put the whole thing on the scales. And so this one here, I think it's going to be about 130 or 140,000.
Hôm nay con nón giá thế.
Chị ơi. Come take, huh? Very waxy, very creamy. It's got a little pip or seed just here. Very similar to a jackfruit. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's okay. He's just running away to get me some tissue paper, I think. I'll have one more bit because it's actually really good. I don't know what I'm going to do with it for my walk around. Oh, there we go. Check that out. It's enough to feed a small army, I think. Oh. Oh shit. I've just dropped it. It's on my shoes and on my pants as well. So there you have it. Look at that, hey? You're not going to have this on a first date. But as I was saying, they also put it into ice cream. There's also small cakes and desserts that they put in it as well. And yeah, I can see why. It's very tasty. I just got sprayed with coconut water as well. So there you have it. The king of fruits. I recommend you try one on your next walk around wherever you are in Saigon.
Now, as much as I enjoyed that durian, I really need something a little more my style to wash it down with. And given that May is about as hot as it gets here in Saigon, this place has just the drink for it. And it's unique to Vietnam with its own little story to tell.
Okay, so here it is, a little bit of Vietnamese history in a glass, but very important history, mind you. I've actually had a little bit out of it already. I just met the lovely gentleman behind me who's from Hanoi. He just wanted to introduce himself. But yeah, check this out. Let's have a go at it. It's really good, especially this time of day. Light, fresh, as it suggests, bia tui or bia hoi, usually they call it in Hanoi. And very tasty, a great way to start the day, especially if you're a daytime drinker, which I'm becoming more of these days.
The French founded the first brewery in Vietnam back in the late 1880s, but when they were sent packing in 1954, the Vietnamese took over and named the brewery Hanoi Beverage Company, or Habeco for short. Back then, ways of storing beer were complicated and expensive, which led to the evolution of the use of kegs, and from which the beer gets its name. The hui in beer hui, I'm told, refers to the sound of the beer being pressurised in the barrels, or something like that.
Now you'll notice that beer hui comes in these cool glasses here. It's actually recycled glass, and yeah, traditionally the beer comes in this, and I think it has done since the 1950s when the Vietnamese took over the beer industry after the French left. So pretty cool. So next time you're walking around, whether it's in Saigon or Hanoi or whatever city it is, and you see people drinking beer out of these things, good chance it's beer hoi, and I recommend you get stuck into it. Nice and cheap. This one's about 13,000 dong for the glass, which is about, I don't know, 60 cents or something like that. And it's around about 3% ABV, so fairly light, good for this time of day, especially in this season, which is super hot.
These days, the Vietnamese drink close to a staggering 4 billion litres of beer each year. That's 40 litres for every man, woman and child, equivalent to something like 1,600 Olympic-sized swimming pools, just in case you needed to know. Anyway, that's a shitload of beer in anyone's language, and if I hang around here any longer, with the friendly hospitality of these locals, then I'll be well on my way to drinking my quota for the year this afternoon. Best get the hell out of here.
Okay, phew, that's a big phew. I'm glad I got out of there. Those guys are so friendly. I managed to meet about 5 people there, and of course, in true Vietnamese style, they didn't want me to pay for anything. But what a great place. Great beer at a great price and awesome experience. So I really should wrap up this video right here probably, but I think I'm going to do it at another place, so hang around. Ciao. Yeah, so I had planned to wrap this video up at home like I'd started it, or outside the beer hoi place that we just came from. But how could I not do it here? Check this out. Anyway, I'll make sure I do a video about this place another time, just in case you're out here in District 7 and you're looking for what I think is quite possibly the best rooftop bar in all of Saigon. So I'll leave it up to you to come and check it out to see if that's true or not. I just want to say thank you for watching. I'm glad you've got this far. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, make sure you give it a share. It helps me out and it helps other people find my content. I hope to get a few more videos out sooner rather than later. I've been a little bit slow on that. So hopefully I'll get a few more out soon. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.